Hello friend, in today's video we will simulate the smart home automation project by using Raspberry Pi in Proteus software. So you can see we will design the web page, also we will create the Proteus project so that after we press any button from this web page, the automatically light turn on and light turn off, also fan turn on and fan turn off will be happen. So I request you please watch this complete video so that you will get idea about how to design the web page also and how to create the Proteus simulation for Raspberry Pi. So let's see what will be the final output first of this project. So you can see when we run our project there are two windows. One window is for Proteus project and one window is for our web page. So you can see our web page has four buttons: light on, light off, fan on and fan off. Also at the Proteus side we have LCD, we have DC motor and light. So once I press the light off button from this web page, then automatically this light will turn off. Also once I press the light fan off button from this web page, then automatically this fan will turn off. Also if you want to turn on the fan, also turn on the light, then you can press the light turn on and light fan you can press light turn on and fan on button. So as soon as you press both these buttons, automatically light will turn on, also fan will start rotating. Also you can see the message on the LCD. So we will create all this project in Python. We will create a web page also in Python. So I request you please watch this complete video so that you will get idea about each and everything, that is how to create the web page also and how to create the Proteus simulation also. So before start the next part, I request you please subscribe my channel. Currently you can see I have 422 subscriber and watch hour is 774. So to verify my channel on YouTube, I require 1000 subscriber and 4000 watch hour, and this only possible because of you. So please support me. Please click on the subscriber button. And you can see currently I have uploaded more than 30 videos on Raspberry Pi. So if you want to learn Raspberry Pi from the scratch, you should subscribe my channel. This is also beneficial for you. Okay, there is a good announcement for my subscriber. As soon as we reach to 500 subscriber to family, then there is a quiz competition. So in this competition I will ask you 20 questions. So if any subscriber give the correct 20 answer, then I will provide you cash 500 rupees. That 500 rupees sent through the Google Pay, sent to the Phone Pay. So please subscribe my channel, and this competition is valid for my subscriber only. So if you want to win the 500 rupees from me, then you should subscribe my channel, all my video, because that 20 question come from my each and every video. So you should watch my all video very carefully, and best of luck for your competition. Now before start the actual project implementation, it is very important to see what are the different types of software you require for this project. So first you require the Python 3.9 software, this one Python 3.9. So if you want to install the Python 3.9 software in your laptop, please watch my this video, face mask detection using Raspberry Pi project. So in this project I have already explained you how to install the Python 3.9 in your laptop. So just go to from this video, just go to software installation process chapter and install all the software from this video. So once you install all this software, now next part is we have to install the Flask package in your laptop. So if you want to install the Flask, go to again CMD. So open the command prompt from your laptop. So once you open the command prompt, just type here pipe3 install Flask. So once you type this command, then Flask will automatically install in your laptop, and press enter. So once you press enter, then Flask start installing in your laptop, and in this way we have successfully installed all the software that is required for your home automation project. Okay, first we create this Proteus simulation in Proteus software. So if you want to create this Proteus simulation in your Proteus software, go to your Proteus 8 software, right click on this software, be specific, right click on this software, and once you right click on this software, go to run as administrator. So you should provide the admission permission to Proteus software, then and then only Proteus will show you the library. So once you click on the run as administrator, it will ask the administrator permission. So click on yes button. So after you click on yes button, it will take some time to open the Proteus software. Okay, for Raspberry Pi project, you can see you require 8.9 software. If you want this software, please, if you want 8.9 software, please watch my first video where I have show you how to download this software and how to create a project for the Raspberry Pi. So, if you want to create a new project in Raspberry Pi for Raspberry Pi project, go to new project. So once you click on the new project, it again takes some time to open the window. Okay, once you click on the new project, then you have to provide the project name here. So let's give project name home automation. Then after that you should provide your project path. Then click on the next button. So once you click on the next button, please select the create schematic from the selected template. Then click on next button. Then select the do not create a PCB layout. Then click on next button. Then after that create the firmware project. So once you click on firmware project, go to the family and go to the Raspberry Pi. So once you go to Raspberry Pi 3, then your controller is selected as Raspberry Pi and your compiler is Python 3. So click on next button, then click on finish. Okay, once you click on finish, there are two windows will open, one source code window and the one schematic window. So in source code window, we will write our source code for this project, for this Proteus project, and in schematic window we will design our circuit. So you can see already there is Raspberry Pi 3 present in our Proteus schematic. So first thing we will add the LCD part in this project. So if you want to add the LCD part, go to the component mode, then click on P, and once you click on P, type here 16x2. Once you type 16x2, select this 16x2 alpha numeric LCD and click on OK and place that LCD here. So once you place that LCD, the first point is you have to connect the RW pin to the ground. So if you want to select the ground from the Proteus, then go to the terminal mode, then click on the ground. Then click on the ground and place the ground here and connect that ground to here. Next part is you have to connect the RS pin to Raspberry Pi pin and enable pin also to Raspberry Pi pin. So if you want to connect the RS pin, go to the terminal mode, click on default, and once you click on default, place that default pin here. Right click on this pin, select rotate anti-clockwise and place pin in front of RS pin. Then connect that pin to the RS pin here. Now double click on this pin and give here name GPIO4. Then after that, if you want to connect the enable pin to again the Raspberry Pi pin, same method you have to follow. Go to the terminal mode, then click on default and place the default pin here. Right click on this pin, rotate anti-clockwise direction. Then place that pin in front of the enable pin. Connect that pin to here and double click on this pin and give here name GPIO17. Next part is we have to connect the D4 to D5 pin to Raspberry Pi pin. So again go to the terminal mode, click on default and place 4 default pin at a time. Then select all this pin, right click on this pin, rotate anti-clockwise and place that pin in front of D4, D5, D6 and D7. Then one by one connect that pin to here. After that you have to connect this pin to Raspberry Pi pin. So double click on this pin. Give here name GPIO18, GPIO18. So this name should be identical with this name GPIO18. Click on OK. Again D5 should be connected to GPIO27. Then next part you have to connect the D6 pin to GPIO22. Now next part you have to connect the next pin to GPIO23. Okay, once you connect all the LCD pin with Raspberry Pi, now next part is we will connect the LED module with our Raspberry Pi. So to select the LED, go to the component mode, then click on P and type here red LED. So once you type red LED, select this red LED and click on OK and place that LED here. After that, one point of LED should be connected to Raspberry Pi and another point of LED should be connected to ground. So to take a ground, again go to a terminal mode, then click on ground and place that ground pin here. Now connect that ground pin to this ground. Now this point of LED should be connected to Raspberry Pi GPIO24 number. So again go to terminal mode, then click on default and place that default pin here and connect that default pin to LED. So double click on this pin and give here name GPIO24. Click OK. Now next part is we have to connect the relay module to our Raspberry Pi. So go to the again component mode, then click on P and type here relay. So once you type relay, just select this relay animated relay module and click on OK and place that relay here. So once you place that relay here, double click on this relay and give here voltage 5 volt. So this 5 volt means that this relay module work on the 5 volt. So because Raspberry Pi send 5 volt to active and to disactive the relay module. So next part. So this pin of relay module should be connected to Raspberry Pi 25 number. So again go to the terminal mode, then click on default and place the default pin here and connect the default pin here. Then double click on this default pin and give here name GPIO 25 and click on OK. Now this part of a relay module should be connected to ground. So again go to terminal mode and click on ground and place the ground pin here and connect that ground pin to this ground pin. So next part is we have to connect the DC motor at the output side of relay. So to select the DC motor, go to the compound mode, then click on P and type here DC motor. So once you type DC motor, just select this simple DC motor module and click on OK and place the DC motor module here. Now one point of DC motor should be connected to this pin. So go to this pin and connect that point here. Again, next part of relay, this part of relay should be connected to ground. So go to the terminal mode, then click on ground and place that ground here and connect that ground to this pin. This part of DC motor should be connected to VCC pin. So to take the VCC, go to the generated mode, then click on DC and place that DC pin here and connect that DC pin to this pin. Again double click on this pin and give here name 12 because this DC motor should work on the 12 volts. So that we have given here name 12. So in this way we have completed the relay module also, we have completed the LED module also. So next part is if you want to give the box to this module, just go to this square box and click on click on P and place that box here. After that, if you want to give the name, again go to the A and click on P and place that name here like fan module and click on OK and select this selection mode. Then take this fan to move this fan to here. Double click on this fan and you can increase the size whatever you want. Then click on OK. So in this way we have completed the relay module also and relay LED module also. Whenever you click on the web page, the data is sent from the Python, that is web page Python program, to Proteus software program. So to send the data from the Python web page to Proteus software, we will require one bridge, and that bridge nothing but the serial communication. So for that we will use COM pin. So virtual COM pin is connected at the Python program and another virtual COM pin is connected at the Proteus. So whenever you press the button, that virtual COM pin send the data from your Python program to your Proteus software. So to select the virtual COM pin, go to the compound mode, click on P and give your name COM pin. So once you give COM pin, select this COM pin and place that COM pin here. After that you have to connect the RxD pin of COM pin should be connected to Raspberry Pi RxD pin. So go to again the terminal mode, then click on default and place the default pin here. Then connect that pin to here. Now double click on this pin and give your name RxD and click on OK. So in this way you have completed the all the part that is necessary required for the Proteus simulation or Proteus circuit for this project. Okay, once you place the COM pin, double click on this pin and give here name give baud rate as 9600 because our baud rate for this program we will use 9600 baud rate. So for both sides, physical port and the virtual baud rate port, give 9600 and click on OK. Okay, now in this way we have completed the circuit diagram for our project. Now once you complete the circuit diagram, please arrange the circuit diagram like this. So it will look much better. So okay, once you place all the circuit, now next part is we have to code this Proteus software. So if you want to do the coding for Proteus software, go to the source code and in this source code you can write your source code. I have already written my source code. Now we will see importance of each and every line from this source code. So first line is import Raspberry Pi.gpio. So if you want to use any GPIO port from the Raspberry Pi, you require the GPIO pin. Now next line is time. So if you want to create some time delay in your code, then you require this time library. Now next point is import port and import ports. Import PIO and import port. So both these lines basically used for the serial communication of our Raspberry Pi. Now next line is port.uart function, then port.uart. So port.uart is nothing but one variable that is created based on this package. So if you want to use a serial communication in your code, you require this line. Now next part is GPIO.set mode as GPIO board. Raspberry Pi can working as a two method, a Raspberry Pi board or Raspberry Pi BSIM chip. So if you want to use the Raspberry Pi as a complete board, then you have to use this line. Now next line there are some delay, we will use this one later. Now next line is LED pin to the RS, LED pin RS to the 7. So as per the circuit diagram, you can see here we have connected the RS pin, that is GPIO4. RS pin is connected to GPIO4 and GPIO4 is nothing but the 7 number. So with this logic we have given all the pin number here. So with this logic we have defined all the pin number of LCD pin. Now next line is LED pin to 18 number. You can see at this LED pin we have connected LED pin to GPIO24 and Raspberry Pi GPIO24 is nothing but the 18. So that we have given here the LED pin to the 18, same as the relay pin to the 22 number. So all this logic is correspond to each other. Now next line is we have to define all the pin as output pin, because Raspberry Pi send the signal on this pin like LCD pin, because Raspberry Pi send the signal on the LCD pin, on the relay pin, on the LED pin. So that we have to define all the pin as output pin. So to set the pin in to set the any pin as output, we have to use this function GPIO.set mode pin number GPIO.out. So in this way we have declared LED pin enable RS D4 D5, then LED, then relay pin as output pin. Now next line is LCD width. So we will see later what is use of this variable. So first line what is executed in program is LCD init function. So you can see LCD init function is here. So here first one is LCD init function. In LCD init function we have to send some command so that our LCD gets work. So this command is nothing but start the LCD, take the initial to first row only, message should be printed on first row only. All this command you can see all this command, and you will see you will get details of this command on Google. You can search the LCD command, you can easily find the importance of each and every command. So main important part of this is to how to send this LCD command from Raspberry Pi on your LCD. So there is function lcd.byte, then you have to pass the command and LCD command. So the LCD command is nothing but the variable we have declared already here, LCD command to the false. So we will see this what is this function. So LCD command, it is jump to this LCD byte, then after that here is select GPIO.output LCD RS pin mode. So what is mode? We have sent here mode as a LCD command, so means this is the command mode. So whenever there is a command mode, you have to select RS pin, and that RS pin should be Raspberry Pi should send the 0 signal on that RS pin. So you can see LCD command mode, this is variable, and this variable has a value false. So whenever you are sending the command on LCD, you have to send RS to 0, that is RS 0 signal on RS pin. So that we have already created function LCD byte send command, and LCD command, this is nothing but 0 automatically send on RS pin with this function GPIO.output LCD RS to 0. Then after that we have to send the data. So data is nothing but this is a 8 byte of data. You can see this is 8 byte of data, but in our schematic we have we use the 4 byte pin 4 pin. So we have to segregate our data into 4 byte, so that we use another logic. So once this signal 33 number sent to LCD byte, it comes here. Then first part is set the command as a command mode. Then GPIO.output, all these our 4 pins should be selected to false by default. D4, D5, D6, D7 should be the false. This means that the 0 signal sent on the LCD D4, D4, D5, D6, D7 by default. Then next line is if bits ending with 0, 1, 0, that is higher byte is equal to 1, 0. So let's say this is 33 number. So first we have to send the 33 number, 33 data command on LCD. So in 33 we have to first aggregate the higher byte first and then lower byte first. So you can see this is our higher bytes and this is our lower byte. So from the higher byte we have to send the D4 first. So to send the D4 byte first, we have to masking with 1, 0. So after masking with 1, 0, you can see the D4 bits get 1 value. So if that value is 1, then we have to send 1 signal on D4. so that one again shifted to the D5, then again masking with 20, and if the value is 20, then we have to send the 1 signal on fifth number of LCD bit. So this logic applied to each and every pin D6 and D7. So once this higher bits get executed send on LCD, we have to shift the same logic to the lower bits. So again lower bits we have to send D4 first, then D5, D6 and D7. But in that case the masking is 0 cross 0 1. So we will see the code. So first we are sending 33, then the LCD bytes get here, then 33 mode is command because we are sending command, then GPIO.output LCD RS pin to the mode, that is mode is command, that is 0, that means 0 signal send on the RS pin. Then by default we have to send the 0 signal on each and every pin D4, D5, D6, D7. After that we are checking if first bit masking with 10 is equal to 10. If 10, then we have to send D4 to the true. If that is not equal to 10, then we have to already send false signal from here. Then second bytes from the higher bits 20. If this value is 20 after masking, then we have to send D5 to true. Then third byte 40, then D6 to true, and then last byte D7 byte. If masking is 80, then we have to send D7 to true. If any of this condition false, then we already send the false signal. So once you send the higher signal, you have to toggle the enable pin. So to toggle the enable pin, we are using this logic LCD toggle enable. So in that logic, we have to pass the high-low signal on the enable pin. So to pass the high-low signal, this is the logic time.sleep. First we are sending some delay, then GPIO.output enable pin to a true. So it will send the high signal on enable pin, then time.sleep to the pulse, then it is sending some time sleep, then GPIO.output LCD enable pin to a false. It is sending the 0 signal on LCD enable pin, then after some delay, so it will toggle the pin. So once you send the higher bits, we have to send the lower bits again. So same logic will apply. First we have to send the 0 signal on each and every pins D4, D5, D6. Then again masking with 0 1. So in this case is 0 1. We are first masking with 1 0 because it's higher bit, and this is the lower bit because this is lower bit we have to send 0 1. So if the value is 0 1, then we have to send LCD D4 pin to the true value. Same for the D5, D6, D7. So in this case we are sending the data on LCD pin. After sending the data lower bits, we have to again toggle the pin with a toggle function. So this is the basic idea behind how to send the data on LCD. So once LCD get initialized, the next part is we have to send the welcome function, welcome message on LCD line number 1. So we have already defined LCD line number 1 variable, which is nothing but the 0 value. So LCD.string welcome. So welcome is nothing but the array. So each array is divided into again 1 byte with their index. So index 0 contain W, index 1 contain E, L contain second index, then C. So this iteration we will do by the for loop. So first go to the LCD string function. So inside LCD string function there is a message that is welcome, and line is line number 1. So first we have to calculate the width of that message with this function. So once you calculate the width, we have to tell LCD that this message has to print on line number 1 by using this command, line command. So line command get execute with LCD byte. Same logic will execute. Then next is we have to iterate the welcome message. To iterate the welcome message, we will use for loop for I in the range of LCD width. So I is not starting with 0 and it incrementing 1 2 3 4 till LCD width. What will be the length of this message? So let's say first I is equal to 0. So LCD byte function get execute with parameter message of I. So I is 0, then message of I is 0, nothing but the W. Then LCD character. Then we are passing the character to the LCD byte. So that LCD with so that RS pin set to 1, and then our message get print. Once the W is sent on the LCD, we have to send the E. So I increment to 1, then E will send, and same with the same logic all the message send on the LCD. Okay, after the welcome message printed on the LCD screen, now we have to print home automation message on the LCD. So to print the any message on LCD, we will use this function LCD string home automation line number 1. So in this way we will print LCD home automation on line number 1 of the LCD. Now next part is some delay. Then we have to print bulb off and bulb fan off message on line number 1 and line number 2 respectively. For this we will use this logic. This is nothing but the initial configuration of the LCD. Now next part is data while true. So while true is nothing but whatever the code inside this while true, it will execute infinite number of times. So data pi.eword.receive, it is a function which is used to take the whatever the data on the present on the serial port. So once the data present on the serial port, that data receive on this function, and we have to store that data into one variable. So data is nothing but the variable which is store the data which received from the serial port. If the data sent by the Python program, that is web page program, is A, if the data is equal to A, means we have to turn on the bulb. So to turn on the bulb, we have to first print LCD print bulb on the LCD line number 1, then gpio.output LCD LED pin to true. So gpio.output is a function which is used to send the 0 and 1 signal on the GPIO pin. So to send the 1 signal on GPIO pin, we will use this logic gpio.output LED pin to the true. That means LED will turn on after some delay. Now in this way we will turn on our LED by considering data is equal to A. Now if data is equal to B, means the LED off button, that is light off button, pressed by the web page. So once the web page press LED off button, that we will press the LED off button from the web page, then pi.eword.receive function receive the B value, and that B value gets stored into data. If here we compare data is equal to B. So if that value is equal to B, means we have to print LCD string bulb off on LCD line number 1. Then we have to turn off the LCD, turn off the LED. To turn off the LED, we have to use gpio.output LED pin to the false. So in this way we will turn off our LED. Our next line is else if data is equal to C. So C means that fan on. So once anyone press the fan on button from the web page, then from the web page we will send C to the Proteus software. So once the Proteus software receives the C, we have to turn on the fan. To turn on the fan, we have to send the 1 signal on the relay pin. To send the 1 signal on relay pin, we have to use gpio.output relay pin to the true, and we have to print the fan on the LCD line number 2. So LCD string fan on line number 2. Now next part is data is equal to D. So if the data is sent by the web page, that is if someone press the fan off button from that web page, then web page send the D value to the Proteus software. So once the Proteus software receive D value, then we have to print fan off on the line number 2, and we have to turn off the fan. So to turn off the fan, we have to send the false signal on the relay pin. To send the false signal on relay pin, we will use gpio.output relay pin to the false. So this is the basic logic behind your Proteus code. Now we will see the logic behind your web page code. So before going to start the explanation of your web page program, first we will see how your folder structure of this project. So in your folder structure there are 3 folder: simulation file, static, and then template, and 4th file is .py file. So .py file name is home automation web page. So in this home automation web page, this is a py file which is required for the web page design. Then in static file there are some style sheet. In this style sheet we will provide some image which we will see what is use of this image later. Now next file is template. So in this template there are various template: bulb control, login, then unsuccessful. We will see importance of this template later. Then simulation file. This is simulation file. Basically, if you want to run your Proteus web page software, then you will require the simulation file. So first we will open the home automation web page file. So if you want to open this file, go to your Python. Type here Python. So once you type Python, you have to open Python 3.9 ideally. So once you open the Python, go to the file and click on open. So once you click on open, go to your downloaded software folder, go to your that file and open this file, home automation on web page, and click on open. So once you click on open, you can see this file will open. If you want this project ready made, just download this zip file from my Google Drive link, home automation Proteus. So once you download this folder, just right click on this folder, go to the save and zip and click on extract here. So once you click on extract here, you will find all this folder in your folder. So this is very important to run your project. So okay, so once you open this file, now we will see importance of each and every line from this code. So first line is from Flask import Flask redirect URL for and request render. So all this actually package which is required to design the Flask program. Now next part is app is equal to Flask name. So basically this is the Flask package. We will create the variable here app. So this line to use to create the variable. Now import serial. So if you want to send the data from your Flask program on Proteus software, you require serial communication. So for that we will use this package import serial. Now next line is URL address 127.0.0.1. So this is nothing but your local IP address of your PC. So we will define this local IP address here with URL address. Now next line is serial is equal to com29600. So what is meant by com2? Com2 is nothing but the virtual port. How to create the virtual port? You require one software. I will open that software here. So to create the virtual port, you require this VSP software. So double click on this software, click on OK, and just go to the device, click on create, and go to the connector, click on next, create emulator, and here you can give the COM port name. So I have given the COM port 2 and click on finish. So you can see COM port 2 and COM port 1 is already present. Then click on green button. So once you click on green button, that COM port pin virtual COM port connected and it is ready to use. So in this way we have configured the COM2 here. Now it is very important what is a COM2 and how to configure that one. Next line is 9600. So our COM port, that is serial communication, work on the 9600 baud rate. So that we have defined here this line. So after that we will create the serial variable. Later we will use S variable to send the data from your Flask program on your Proteus software by using this serial S variable. Now flag is equal to false. So this is nothing but the global variable. We will see the importance of this variable later. Now first line. So whenever you run the Flask program, first login start with this one app.run. So in app.run we have passed URL address, that is our local IP address of PC. Then 8080 is nothing but the our port address of our PC. Then debugger is equal to false. This is the line which is used to run the Flask. Okay, the first part, when you go to the run module, once you click on run module, your first part will be run this app.run function. So once app.run function will run, you can see run module. So once the function will run, you can see running on this HTTP address. So this is your address and entry point of your Flask web page. So again go to your Chrome browser, and once you give here this one and click on enter, so you can see no URL found. That means this is not your entry point. So what is your entry point for the login page? So again go to your code, you can see here /login, it is nothing but your entry point. So again go to your Chrome and give here name /login. So once you give the /login and press enter, you can see your login web page will open. Now where from this web page is open? So again go to your code, you can see here in /login there are one function dep login, and inside dep login there is return value. What is return value? Return template. What is this function is returning? It's returning render template login.html. So login.html is nothing but your HTML page. And where is this HTML page? So again go to your folder structure and go to the template. Inside template all your HTML page is there. So this is login.html. So right click on this page, you can see we will see the code of this HTML page here. So you can see the first line is h1 login. So you can see at the Chrome browser there is a login. This is one message we have given to user. That is, what is that message? It is nothing but the login web page. So if you want to give any message to user from your web page, you have to use h1 tag. So this is h1 tag. So we have inside h1 tag we have provide login. Then form action. So you can see on web page there are three fields. One field is used for username, one field is used for password, and another field is nothing but button. So all these fields are considered inside one form. So to create one form into your template, HTML template, you require this form action tag. So inside form action we have passed our HTML address, that is nothing that is nothing but our IP address of our project, then 8080, that is nothing but the port address, then slash login servlet. We will see what is login servlet later. Then method is post. Then input, there are two input. What is that input? Username and user password, and their name is, placeholder name is username and password. So you can see placeholder name is username and password, and type of this two tag is username and password. So that with this line we have given the username and password. Now next is button. So but what is name of that button? That name of that button is login. So you can see this is login, and this login is reflected here, login. Okay, so once you enter the username and password and click on login button, then inside this HTML page this action will be performed. So what is that action? The action is open HTML address 880/login.servlet. So with this, automatically our pointer comes inside this py file, and this app.root login servlet will open, because this name is identical with our HTML action name. So here this function will open. Now inside this function there is one global flag, and what we are doing here, we are taking whatever the username and password from our web page, we are requesting that password and username, and we are storing that password and username into our local variable username and user password. Now we are comparing, our username is nothing but Rahul and password should be 9922. So in your project, if you want to change your password and username, you can simply change here name and password here. Then if that both name and password is matched, then we are setting flag to 1, and if the password or username does not match, then we are setting flag to 0. Now next line is, if flag is equal to 1, means username and password is correct. Then again we have to open another web page. What is that another web page? bulkcontrol.html, and again we are passing the URL address to that web page. Now where is that web page? Again go to your static folder. This is bulk control, this is your web page. Right click on this web page, we will see the code of this web page. So you can see most important part of this web page is first line h1. H1 is nothing but the home automation. This is name we are giving for our web page. So let's say we will pass correct name and password Rahul and 9922 and click on login. So once you click on login, you can see home automation, then light on, light off, fan on and fan off. These are 4 buttons, and this is the message. So define the buttons and message we already seen. So first one is form action. So first form action is used for the light on. So once you press the light on button, then automatically this address will open, and this light on servlet will hit, and this light on servlet is nothing but your Python program. So automatically this light on servlet will hit and this program will execute. So once anyone places light on, then from that HTML page, this submit button having name light on automatically open this light on servlet. Then your pointer come here, and this light on servlet will open and start working. So what we are doing here, we are taking the global flag, that is this flag from the login servlet, and we are checking it. If flag is equal to 1, means this is a valid user. Then if you want to send light on, that is a value, we are sending the a value to the Proteus software. So to send the value to Proteus software, we will use s.write bit a. So this is nothing but the format to send the value on the Proteus software. So once the light on button press, then a value will be sent on the Proteus software, and whatever the code from that side will start executing. Now once you press, again we have to return on the same web page. So to return on the same web page, we will use return render template bulk control, and we are pass the URL address for that template. So in this way the light on will be performed. And let's say if the light on is not performed, light off is performed, then if someone press the light off, then again our web page will open, the light off button will detect, and it will open light off servlet. Then again go to our Proteus project, then light off servlet will open, and here we are checking flag is equal to 1, that means it is a valid user. Then s.write b, so we are passing b value to the Proteus software. Again we have to open the bulk control web page. So return.render template bulk control. So in this way, same fan on and fan off also work. Now next part is, if there is no valid user, then we have to print unsuccessful HTML page. We have to open unsuccessful HTML page. So again we will go to our main login web page. Okay, once you give the wrong username and wrong password here and click on login button, now you can see there is a message like you have entered the wrong ID or wrong password. Again go to the login page. So once you click on this login again, then automatically login web page will open. Now how this coding happen? So once you click on login page and then from our home.automation.py page, this flag is setting as a 0, and if flag is 0, if flag is equal to 0, then unsuccessful template HTML page will open. Now we will open that HTML page. Now you can see in HTML page unsuccessful.html we just simply pass the name, then whatever the name you have entered, then login again, your password is wrong, then login again, it is href, that is it is reference button in which once you click on from this web page, then automatically this URL address will hit and it will open the login page. So this is the way, this is a simple way to create the home automation web page by the Flask framework. Okay, if you want the ready-made code and ready-made simulation of this project, you just require to download this home automation on Proteus zip file from my Google Drive link. Then right click on this link, go to 7-zip and click on extract here. So once you click on extract here, you will find all these folder, all these 4 folder. So from this, if you want to open the Proteus software, that is Proteus simulation, then again go to your Proteus 8, right click on this software, then go to the run as administrator, then click on open project, then go to your extracted folder, then go to the simulation file folder and open this file, home automation web page, Proteus project, click on open. So you can see ready-made source code and ready-made schematic is available for you, but I request you please draw this schematic by yourself so that you will learn many things. Now if you want to open the Python, again go to this, I already show you, go to the file and click on open, go to your and select this home automation web page .py file and click on open. So you can see this Python file will open. Now how to run this code? First you have to run this code, just go to your run and run module. Then you can see this line will running on this HTML, that means your code start working. Now go to your Proteus software and click on this button. Okay, you can see welcome message, home automation, then fan off and light bulb off and fan off message print on the LCD because we haven't passed any signal. Now go to your web page, just drop this web page here and give username, correct username, correct password, then click on login. Then you can see your web page will open. Now if you want to turn on the light, just click on light on button, this light on will turn on, just click on light off button, light off will turn on, message also print here. If you want to turn on the fan, just click on the fan on, fan will start working and fan on message print on LCD and fan off message print on the LCD and fan getting off.